Here we are, day 2. It's a bit late, but yeah, that other things to do. Still got to just rip off the other side of the head and see what's wrong there. Looking at the bottom of my inlet manifold, you can see there was some watery blown out stuff there, and that was out of that pot back there, but couldn't see anything majorly wrong with the head gasket. I've just finished cracking my head bolts, and same as the other side, coolant coming out of the back one. If anyone can, just let me know if this is normal. It's the first time I've ever done a head on these, and yeah, seems a bit spun out. That the other side, as you can see, is empty, and yeah, I'm still getting coolant leaking. Yesterday it was coming out of one of the bolts though, so yes, it's got me buggered. Don't know if it's meant to happen, but you can clearly see that it is happening. And while I think of it, your push rods, make sure you leave them in the order that they are. What I found is you get the box that your head bolts come in, chuck your head bolts on the ground because they don't really matter, and you've got a nice little spot to put your push rods. So just keep them in their order. Around the corner, that lets you know that it all's going that way. And then close them up, and I find putting them on the passenger side floor so that you know that they're the passenger side push rods. That way you're not getting confused and muddling things up, because they do say that you're not meant to jumble them around, so better do what they say, I reckon. But yeah, now just clean everything up with a bit of petrol. Make sure it's all nice and clean before you put it all back together. Okay, I don't have a proper wash down tub thing, but the next best thing that I find is a good old V8 sump. She's a bit dirty from the last time, so just splash a bit of petty in there. Get the dust and dirt and shit out. But good old sumps. Not only good for holding oil in your motor, but good for wash down bays too. Probably get done by the EPA for that, but shit happens. Now you get a bit of build up around your piston. What I find easy, I don't know if it's right or not, but just get a pocket knife or a razor blade and very gently just knock it all off. Try not to gouge anything, because that'll just cause you problems later. But as you can see, it just nice and lightly, trying to keep the blade as flat as possible. Just run over it all. There's bits of the head like the side of the head gasket coming off. You want it as clean as possible to put your new head gasket on. You don't want no build up or anything that's gonna give you a gap anywhere. Alright, so I've cleaned up one head, still got one to go. But it's a nice smooth surface, no lumps, nothing. All the old head gasket's gone. So that's one head ready to go back on. Cleaned up around the inlet, had a look over it, couldn't see any visible cracks, but don't know. Hopefully it was just a head gasket. Slow process, but not in much of a rush. Was, well, in a bit of a rush, but still got the bottom of the inlet to clean up and clean up in there a bit. Just fossick around in there with my toothbrush. Another good cleaning tool, nice stiff toothbrush. After you've done the heads, you've got to clean all this stuff here off, just to make sure it's a nice clean surface to put a new head gasket on. Well, day 3 and it's finally time to put everything back together. It's all cleaned up. Heads are done. So yeah, pretty much just what I did in reverse. New head gaskets. So yeah, just whack them on. I was going to do the other side. So put your head gasket on and your push rods back in. Now it's time to drop the head on. Alright, head's back on. Try to do it without bending the head gasket. Drop your bolts back in where they go. Big ones in the middle, little ones on the outside. Once the head's back in, you got to tighten all your head bolts up in sequence. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they've got to be taken to 34 Newton meters of torque, and then tightened another 90 degrees, and then taken to 90 Newton meters of torque. Alright, so now that the heads are back on and all torqued up, you can go back to putting all the stuff that you had to take off of the heads, except for all the stuff that still goes into the valley cover. But yeah, while the valley cover's not on, put all the stuff that you took off the heads back on, where it's easier to get to. Connect up any hoses that you might have disconnected, and yeah, then it's time to put the valley cover, the inlet manifold back on. So yeah, heads are all on, everything's done up that can be done up. So now it's time to put your inlet on and then finish putting everything else that you took off back on. And then drop the oil and hopefully she'll go. But we'll find out.